I am not a financial advisor. These videos are all meant for educational purposes only. All complete Trader Academy videos are my personal opinion and perspective. Trading carries a high level of risk, and all results are your own responsibility. Please always demo first. Hey everybody, welcome back to CT Review. Today is July 23, Wednesday, 2025. Hope you had a good day today. So we did mention it's going to be a sloppy rest of the month. It's going to be speakering out here. Sure enough, we did that. We came up. I'm going to make this, try to make this simple and quick. But recall that there's this range here that I have highlighted, right? So if you're looking at it, I know it might be a lot of shit on the chart, but let me make it bigger so you can actually see it. Because for me, it's fine, but you might not be able to see it, right? Let's make it thick like that. Okay, so you can see here that when we bounce here, that was yesterday, we rated. Okay, by the way, I made a big mistake, and I knew it when I was doing it, but I was just trying to hurry up. This right here, I had the daily imbalance marked here. I did not include the gap. I'm supposed to include the gap, but I didn't do that. So this is how it looked yesterday. And in today's case, we dump and pumped, right? So we came down, we took out these lows that they made in Asia, and then in the upper quadrant, but it's really supposed to be like this, right? And then obviously you'll see yesterday's price action sitting at 50%, even more cleaner. We still use that level though, remember that high. But anyways, and you can see that now this is the upper quadrant. Let me just move this over. All right, so upper quadrant there, and then pushing up, getting back to that first imbalance yesterday, nested with the Monday. So today's Monday and Wednesday are going to be very key moving forward. Let's just make this one darker too. I think that's good. And then let's get into it. So I'm not missing anything here, right? By the way, also, we had that gap for today. So the way they gapped and they only had one body pushing up, like on this hourly, for example, notice how we did not have a down closed candle. And then that's just a little bit of an extra tidbit. So here, going through it real quick here, you'll see that from yesterday when we bought, we're coming up to squeeze out. But if you take a look back at this this range here, let me just move it over. See how you're gonna see how it looks like today here in price action. It's not a lot of shit. Just don't mind it. But this is supposed to be out here too. Oh my god, you'll see here that we bounce here. We come to that 50, and then here in London, we're coming smacking right back. That's a breakout level. Now I wanted to hold that buy up to here, but doesn't mean I'm gonna get it today. Or we're speaking about yesterday. So now you can see us nagging it right there. You can see we push right through. We come right to it. Now this is London, and then we sell 930, dump underneath that to come back to that first quadrant of the first imbalance. I'm sorry, of this bullish daily imbalance, and then sweeping that liquidity, and then pushing back up to those areas, and then you'll see this right here, this high right here. This was last week's high as well. Nagged it right there. So I don't even know if that's a word, but if you take a look here on that's fucking nasty. Real quick, you can see when we came up here, you'll see that I have this projected here down to 2 to 2.5. Sweeps these guys right here. See, so when your 930 is here, we got the structure coming down in a break already. And then you can see this is pretty obvious right here, this liquidity that they built right there. And then these guys, see that guys right there? See that guy right there? So we're coming for that. And then that's the nested first imbalances right there. And then you can see that when at London, we sweep above Asia up here, and then we come down a sweep below. And then you have those lows nested, right? 2 to 2.5. Take a look at the movement here. We come up and we sweep that guy right there. There was a divergence here too. I think it was on Dow. And then shoots down. We've been having that back-to-back days, just straight down, coming down, retracing back into the present week's gap right there. And then right there at that red, it's not red, but it's just darker. That's the 50%. That's the midnight level. So this orange that's going across this midnight level, that's 25%, 50%. Bottom 25%. Yeah, this is way too dark. I'm just gonna do it like that. So as you see here, we're button underneath it. There's the midnight level. Then we down for drives coming in here. right here. You see we're in the upper quadrant right here. Then we push up here, and then we get an imbalance, little induce, come lower for a low, respecting that low right there. See that? As we pop up, we come right back to it. This is a projection here, and then we push off for another higher high and a higher low, and then so this is dump, this is pump. When we move forward, we're going to look for the rated all manipulation momentum. When they use this push up, almost tags that first imbalance from yesterday, and then sets liquidity, retraces back all the way. You can see the 930 retracing. Look how it's bouncing 25%, midnight level, opening week gap still. And we're, as you see, we're obviously speakering here. And then that's a sign that we're going to be visiting and up and down this midnight level. So high resistance, and then we're pushing back down, back to the daily gap. That's this daily gap right here. That's what it's doing. And then it buys back up. So this is a low, this is a high, mid-range discount coming right back up into this key levels here, which is the 50% of the opening range gap and the present week gap. See, it's red and it's for orange, but it's just because it's overlapping, it's making it look red. So it's that line right there. But you can see us using that level pretty beautifully, right bam, right to that high that we made on Friday last week. So it's dragged out. You see that? Tag it, 50%. Ooh, boom. That's the first imbalance from yesterday. All right. And coupled with this, oh shit, didn't even do that. Let's see if, let me just drag this real quick. Why aren't you, why is it doing that? Hold on, there you go. Oh boy. So I make videos long. I'm going to just drag that out with it. Again, I know it looks crazy, but boom. You can't knock that 50% there. Right there, comes underneath it. And that's just where we are. We're bouncing back on that first 25%. So in a range, you do want to see it, start building up and bouncing higher from these levels. Obviously, moving forward is the question is, are we going to sweep this and get into these guys here? So you had the shakeout. I kind of made a wild example yesterday of it, moving up and down. It wasn't my best drawing, but go take a look at that. It's fire. And this is kind of what I meant. And then I also mentioned that I want to see, at minimum, I wanted to see it just push up. But if not, I want to see the wick of today. I want to see it come into the previous wick of yesterday. And then sure enough, push up. And that's what we got here. So as far as the tails here, you had lower highs here with Nas, pre-New York, obviously. Pre-New York, not even New York, but... and then London lunchtime, and then you can see here we had a nice little higher high and higher low, a higher high here with Dow, and then lower highs here. Pushed it down. We already used that, so now we're using this to continue to flow. Once we came down here, you can see that we have a higher low with Dow, and then we have a divergence right here. So it's not really drawn that well here, but it's pretty much there. Right, and then double bottom here, very tough price action, and then, but you got your signal there and signal there, and then it pushes up for the liquidity. Easy run, very common. This is pretty much happening every day. They're keeping the price around the area. Why did I even say that yesterday? Well, because of the fact that they have FOMC next week, and they're building this pressure. So in general speaking, we're melting up, but remember, you're always still bullish. So if you were confused today, you got to stick to the script. Keeping it simple, dollars coming down is also a benefit to push up. Now, I said Dow was going to go straight through. Sure enough, it did. Easy run. Called it yesterday. Beautiful. Keeping it simple there. And then you could see Dow coming in to the top 50%. Here and then rushing up, obviously for that liquidity. Real simple there, and S&P just continued up as well. So again, we're bullish. Nvidia they're lagging Nvidia, because the funny thing is Nvidia is the one that should be leading the way. S&P is leading, right? But if you have history in trading these assets, you'll see that they'll delay the the gratification. They'll delay the movement with Nas, because it's the opposite. You really think they're the ones that are going to be pushing up more or higher, and it's just you could go back test or take a look at the end of 22. So you'll see that prevalent there with Nas being a lagger. And then obviously we're pushing up here to during the it made it almost to the 75%, 50% pretty much holding the price, and just higher low. So they get the dump, and then it's buy, sell, buy from there, right? Real simple. And I don't think there's anything else to really say here. And then I mentioned that I would still expect a bullish week this week, but we do have some news tomorrow. And then also, because we didn't have news this past week, these days are a lot more less clean and probable to pan out. But yeah, still ended up. Look at the body sitting there at the opening week gap right there, coming up on it. But pretty logical here. You can see everything else is depicted in the chart here, 2 to 2.5 from this projection here. So you get this little. This is what they call an exchange of hands, right here. You see this, how it starts to speaker out right there. See that? So technically, this will be the shift, and it's a deep retracement. But in general, then they just start a little buy program and pushes out. But it's the same price action. You just when they make it very difficult for you to get in, and then they give you hope here, and then they swipe it down. Or notice how we don't take that low candle, that 10-15. That low does not get, and also a 4 hour. That's that 4 hour return, just like yesterday's idea. But simple as that. There's nothing else I could say. This is also a mitigation area where you bust through here, and you'll notice that we'll come back and use that as that block right there. See that? I mean, they're all consecutive down candles, so obviously a change in the state of delivery. You'll see it's more refined like that. Perfect. See that? That's as perfect as it can get. This is also that daily gap. So we're above it. That means it's a bullish day, right? In general. But yeah, and then yesterday I was telling you about how we were coming down to get to that gap. And then so that's why that 4 hour I had got out of it. What did they do? They came back into the wick, and that was good. They kept it there and they pushed up just to get to these sellers here. So obviously we have two options. Either we're going to chop for the rest of the month, or if we're keeping it simple, we're expecting us to push up more here to get to these guys. All right. I would like to just see an expansion. This is more or less just more of a retracement. So I'd like to see an expansion, and it's probably going to happen too. So I don't see it really coming back down right now. And then yeah. So I I know this is a bit much on here, but again, not hard here. You have these levels. These are just previous highs. So you'll see how we that previous high, well, this high here is kind of on top of that first imbalance of today. So just making its way above and below. As you see, we're above it here, right there. Boom, takes off from it. Goes to that one, right? So where do we go from here? Well, the thing is with this sell model here, could have been a sell model here. It held. That's a good response if you're bullish, though. So, there's nothing really to draw. In a perfect world, where it is from right now after it did that, I really would like to just see it do this. That's really it. Again, if it doesn't do that and we get some news in Asia and London, again, you got to look at that. then I would like to see it maybe come even here. Perhaps. Here or here. I don't see that happening. I mean, it's possible, right? But that's it. Those are the only options I see, or interested in. And I feel like I'm missing something. I know I made a mistake yesterday, but hopefully you'll see that today. That let me see here. Yeah, I mean, just keep going up is really it. This is a little wide open, but getting a little channel there. This is like internal liquidity. The range is too tight or too shallow, but it'll be induced liquidity as well. Come in. That's really more of a range there. That's external, I'll call it. But yeah, we got to get above this. Is this a brick ceiling? As you notice, we just roll right through the 8 o'clock candle low with the 9:30, and they tag it, and it's all built right there on purpose. But it's starting to look a little crazy, I know. Yeah, but I mean, this is pretty much it. I feel like I'm fucking missing some, and I want to make it short. I've talked about everything, didn't I? Yeah. So let me see. Is there anything else? Um, you know, signs like this of it shifting structure with this macro understanding of, the credit cycle and interest rates and all this shit. But I mean, in general, right now, it's just still bullish. So you get weary of these type of things here. But logically speaking, you got to see where the price is and what's the agenda on the liquidity side. And balance and liquidity side is generally what it's going to be looking for. But as you can see, it's the top quadrant. I think I mentioned all this already. Oh yeah, coming down here, you can see that up candle. We use this as a control of price. Break right through here, and then uses it as resistance. I think this is This is like the third day in a row that it looks like this. Then we come down. We get underneath that first imbalance. We shoot there. We use this one as a control of price for the moment. Then you get some drives down, and then I've already explained the change of hands. You see this pattern? This is obviously a shift to confuse you if it's and reverse. But yeah, I've already explained all this. So you guys take care. God bless.